This is Jack Burton. We're going to talk about Kentucky Wildcats' first football game of the 2015 season against University of Louisiana-Lafayette. It was a closer game than it really should have been. It was 40-33. Kentucky won. Thankfully, thanks to a Mikael Horton touchdown and a Josh Forrest interception that kind of sealed the deal. It was a lot closer game than it should have been. I was really hoping for a pretty big blowout, which I thought we were going to get after the first half, but man, it got a lot closer. Kentucky football tried to rear its ugly head again, and it was just a tough game to watch in the second half. It was one of the longest games. It was a 4-hour game. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, so just kind of going through some of the stats for the game. Let me just tell you this first. So, I watched the game with some friends, and man, they just looked. Man, it was first half was unbelievable. Like Kentucky just totally outmatched them. They looked way better than Louisiana-Lafayette had any right. Like Louisiana-Lafayette didn't look like they belonged on the same field. However, in the second half, I think guys kind of got relaxed. I think the score was 31-10 at one point. I mean, they had a good sized lead. They just kind of let things kind of get away from them, though. Louisiana-Lafayette had a pick and then a quick score, and things just kind of turned on its head. And next thing you know, teams were tied at 33 in the fourth quarter with like 4 minutes to go. Kentucky had to make a really good drive to really take the lead and put it away. It was a lot closer than it should have been. I think the biggest takeaway from the game for me was the performance of Patrick Towles, the quarterback. He going into the season, everybody was talking about it's Patrick Towles' team, it's Pat's team, it's Pat's team. And honestly, I mean, he looked. There were times where he looked really good, but he looked really inconsistent. He underthrew or he overthrew his receivers quite a bit. He had I can count on I just can remember 3 times where he caught or where he threw the ball where his receiver had completely beaten his man and had an open field. Like if he threw a pass right on him, it's a touchdown, no question. So they left 21 points on the field right there. Right? That's just crazy. You can't do that with an SEC team. So like when they play South Carolina this week, it's going to be a completely different story. He's got to make those throws if they want to beat South Carolina. That's a tall task, but got to do it. So hopefully he gets things kind of straightened. Hopefully it's all just between the ears, and he gets whatever was bothering him taken care of. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just you really hope that he comes back and has a better performance than he did this week. Aside from that, what can I say? Boom Williams started off the game with a fantastic run for a touchdown. I mean, first play from scrimmage in New Commonwealth Stadium, and just blows right by everybody. I mean, it was fantastic. Couldn't ask for any better. But after that, you had a really great touchdown pass from Patrick Towles, and then you just had the inconsistency the rest of the game. So, I do like Shannon Dawson's new play style. It's very up-tempo, very fast, very, very fun to watch. They're gonna try chucking the ball downfield, which is really awesome. Seemed like they had pretty much 2 plays: either run it up the gut or just go deep. So Kentucky fans will at least have some fun football to watch this year. It should be pretty awesome. Defense also looked pretty good at times. The second half, I think they got really worn out. The offense couldn't do much, so the defense was on the field a lot, and Louisiana-Lafayette was running the ball a lot. They had a mobile quarterback that they put in the second half, and he just kind of, slashed that defense to pieces. The defense finally kind of held together at the end, but they looked kind of dicey. They did not look like an SEC defense the second half. So, room for improvement. I think things are going to get better. Mark Stoops said they had a whole bunch of freshmen playing, And this is obviously their first game, a true freshman playing their first games at the NCAA level. So, gonna take some lumps there, but hopefully everybody stays healthy and just continues on, because I think they're just gonna get better as the year goes on. But at any rate, so yeah, just kind of looking at the stats, Louisiana-Lafayette beat Kentucky in total yards, beat them on time of possession, and actually beat them in first downs too. I mean, they held the ball for a long time. They ran the ball a lot more than Kentucky did, but they also had more success running the ball. And once they kind of figured out that Patrick Towles wasn't really throwing the ball very well, they started stacking the box on him and just shut down the run totally. So, you just gotta shore that up next week. Louisiana-Lafayette is not your typical Sun Belt team. They are a really good team that's gone to 4 straight bowl games. They have an SEC caliber running back in Elijah. Elijah Smith? I think that's who it was. But got to get better. It's not an SEC team. You're going to play an SEC team next week in South Carolina. You're going to be facing Steve Spurrier. You've got to come prepared. So hopefully Kentucky will, come prepared next week. Aside from that, fourth down efficiency, Kentucky was 1 for 1, so that was good. His quarterback sneak, Patrick Towles, took right up the middle. He had 257 yards passing, which is pretty good, but he could have had. I'm going to guess with just those 3 drops that I can think of that would have been scores, he'd probably have 400 yards passing easily. I think if he just completed those few passes that he missed. And they beat us in rushing too. Like, we had 178 yards rushing to their 247. Whew, we had almost 2 guys run for 100 yards each. I mean, that's you cannot give that up. Cannot give that up. But we did have a higher average. Luckily, thanks to Boom Williams' run at the beginning of the game and Mikael Horton's breakthrough at the end of the game. So is what it is. Other than that, I just think the key thing to take away from that first game is getting better, but they're still a work in progress. We'll see what happens this week against South Carolina. They're at South Carolina. South Carolina is looking forward to playing them since they lost to Kentucky last year. So they're going to be ready to go. They did win. They barely squeaked by North Carolina, who doesn't have a great team. So that's good news for Cats fans. We've got a chance to take them out. I don't think we'll catch them sleeping this year, but I don't think they're as talented as South Carolina teams have been in the past with Steve Spurrier. So we'll see how that goes. It's definitely a winnable game. Kentucky can get that one. It's going to be tough to win on the road in the SEC, but if Patrick Towles kind of gets his mind right, gets his arm going right, I think they can get everything taken care of. I think they can come out with a win. Defense has to look better too, though. I know it's a lot of things to ask to happen, but I think they can do it. Stoops seems pretty pleased with how they played, even though it's a lot closer than a lot of people would have liked. But they're in the right direction. A win's a win. You get it and you move on, and hopefully they're ready for South Carolina later this week. But anyway, since nobody's on, I guess we're just going to end it there. Not take any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Facebook or whatever. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll be back after week 2 after the game against South Carolina. Go Cats!